Welcome to the Museum of Art. My name is Ben Abbott, and I teach climate change and aquatic ecology at Brigham Young University. Today I'm in an exhibition titled Far Out, the West Reseen, Photography of Victoria Sambunaris. And today I've been asked to talk about this piece, which is called Untitled, Loose and Cut Off. This is a piece taken from the west bank of the Great Salt Lake. And it's showing a causeway that was built by the Southern Pacific Railroad. And when I looked through this whole exhibit, this is the piece that really captured my imagination. I study aquatic ecosystems, and this is a causeway that was built to solve a transportation problem. The railroad, prior to the construction of this cutoff, had to go around the north side of the lake. There were a lot of turns and some topography, had to go up and down hills. This allowed the trains to travel directly across the Great Salt Lake. However, there were some unintended consequences of the construction of this causeway. You can see immediately from the photograph that there are differences in color to the left and to the right of the causeway. And those are caused by changes in water chemistry and then the biology, the organisms that can live on each side. So I'm going to trace a hopefully not too complicated ecological story of what happened because of the construction of this causeway. Most of the water enters the lake from the east side and the south, through the Bear River, and Jordan River, and Weber Rivers. The north side of the lake, called Gunnison Bay, has almost no surface water input. And the Great Salt Lake is at the bottom of a closed basin. There's no drainage to the ocean. So any of the water that comes down, it's either staying in the lake or evaporating back to the air. So through time, the salts have accumulated in the Great Salt Lake from those rivers coming in. But when this causeway was built, it effectively cut off the northern part of the lake from those freshwater inputs. And so those salts started to accumulate much faster on the north side of the causeway. And whereas you often see salt concentrations that are 5 to 10% on the southern part of the lake, you reach 25 to 33% on the north side of the lake, saltier than almost any water on Earth. And so the brine shrimp, the 100 billion brine shrimp that live in the Great Salt Lake, the millions of shorebirds that rely on the wetlands around the Great Salt Lake, they primarily are on this side. As soon as that change happened, the water started to get saltier, and the brine shrimp and other organisms couldn't survive. So halophilic, that means salt-loving bacteria and archaea, started to thrive in this northern part of the lake. And then salt water is denser than fresh water, and so that salt water formed a dense brine that started to sink. So you have fresh water that diffuses through this causeway to the north, but then the salty water comes back, and there's a problem. Because the Great Salt Lake receives huge amounts of mercury, mainly from gold mining and coal-fired power plants. Mercury in the air, and then it falls out in rain or dust into the lake. So that's accumulated in the lake. And these amazing extremophilic bacteria and archaea that live over here, they transform the elemental mercury into methyl mercury, which is much, much, much more toxic. And so after the construction of this causeway, the concentration of methyl mercury started to skyrocket in the lake, and it now is hundreds of times the healthy limit. So this unintended consequence, one of the only ecological laws that we have, of building this barrier to solve a transportation problem, caused a cascade of ecological issues, and then also completely changed the color, the appearance of the lake. So this image, for me, really captures how there's not a clear division between water and land. This is actually some of the driest water on Earth with that much salt in it. And also how you have this interaction between people and natural environment, and how that interaction goes both ways. When we affect the environment, it of course comes back and influences our society. So I am happy to invite you, come and see this amazing exhibit. It's open until May 1st of 2021. It really blurs the lines between art and environment and shows us how when we reseed these landscapes, these amazing ecosystems, it can remind us of their importance for nature and for society.